So we'll start with our prayers, with the refuge first. We chant it 3 times, then the 4 immeasurables 3 times, and then we do the requesting for the teaching. Just once. We should be doing 3 times, should we? No. And then on the end of the day, we dedicate the merit. So we start with the refuge prayer. In the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge till enlightenment by virtue of giving and daylight. I shall reach Buddhahood to aid beings. In the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge till enlightenment by virtue of giving and daylight. I shall reach Buddhahood to aid beings. In the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, I take refuge till enlightenment by virtue of giving and daylight. I shall reach Buddhahood to aid beings. May all beings have happiness, and the cause of happiness, may they be free from suffering, and the cause of suffering, may they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings have happiness, and the cause of happiness, may they be free from suffering, and the cause of suffering, may they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. That was 3 times? Or 2? One more? Sorry, I forgot. May all beings have happiness, and the cause of happiness, may they be free from suffering, and the cause of suffering, may they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering, may they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far, according to their intelligence and predisposition of each being. We ask that you turn the Dharma will of the law and common vehicles.
Thank you so much. Janjosem Rinpoche, Maje Wanam Genjoje, Jawanya Bame Waya, Kone Kone. Sange Jodon Soke Sonamba, Sanjo Wakatane. Dage Zoye Sonam Jedola Kanje, Sange Dola. This tune, who came up with this tune? Oh, wow, so amazing.
I know, yes.
Ah? No, the tune. The chant, the tune. Yeah? Wow, so amazing. Thank you. Okay, good morning everyone. So yesterday I think it was we focused a lot on generality. Yeah, we focused a lot on generality, how the mind works, how we need to function, how the methods to work with the mind, with a lot of examples that I gave in what to say, in accordance with worldly daily experiences, and then the things that we face, with all the what we say destructive emotions and how to deal with it, and then how we come out of it, and then how we focus, and then how we dissect it into categorizing that is something in regards to us. And then I think finally we talked about a little bit of a Buddhist practice inside it, which was in regards to the teachings of the Buddha, the 84,000 teachings of the Buddha that conveys the different methods based on the different mindsets and different situations and different backgrounds and different scenarios that we all experience in our life, right? So it's, I think, more generalization. Today we go more into Dharma, more into deep Dharma, core Dharma, and then I think we try to do similarity. Today, emptiness. I'll give you an idea of what emptiness is. We don't go too much in detail because emptiness is a huge topic. I like to call it the view of emptiness rather than emptiness, because sometimes emptiness goes straight to voidness or nihilism. That concept can come into what we say, can be sort of like seen that way. So we don't want to go, we don't want to have that misconception. So we will go into explaining about the concept of what the view of emptiness is, and how it comes into play, why it comes into play, how we need to practice it, and then on what basis we are practicing them. Okay. Then after that we talk about, we go a little bit more into Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, and the path on the teachings of the Buddha. So one of the first teachings, I like to call it the first verbal teaching, because Buddha gave so many teachings even before the Four Noble Truths in action, and there's a lot of different kinds of teachings. So one of the first verbal teachings was the Four Noble Truths, and we go through that, why the Four Noble Truths, for what reason, how, step by step, and then the whole idea of what it consists of. And then and then we can do question answer like yesterday. If you feel comfortable, we do question answer like yesterday, and then we do what was it, discussion group. Yeah, I think everyone enjoyed yesterday's discussion group, and I think we can get a lot out of it, because there we are talking with we call the Sangha community, right? When you have a Dharma, everyone who's practicing together, then that community becomes a Sangha community, and the Sangha community has so much to offer us, and not just so much to offer us, it has so much different, what we say, knowledge that we can contemplate, that gives us more to contemplate, even more so than, than actually listening to a talk or to a teaching. So we would also continue doing that, and maybe we don't go as the talks today. I will mainly focus on the 2 different talks today, and that should be it. Yeah, everyone happy with that? Okay. Fantastic. So, yes.
Sorry,
No problem.
probably tell you that, but we're normally having a meditation here at 10 to 11, and people, we can't really tell everyone that you're here, so people can come at 10 o'clock, some people here.
Okay.
So, could you maybe do a little bit of meditation at 10 with us?
Yeah, what kind of meditation you do? Do you sit like this and breathe, or
Whatever you feel like, we'll just follow. Most of us are here, but I know maybe come that's right. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
You could
But
half
maybe
an hour, maybe
what do you normally do?
Or we do calm abiding meditation, or we do some insight meditation as well,
Huh?
like
Breath meditation?
breath,
Okay.
breath, body scanning, and the breath meditation.
Oh, yeah, we can do. What time you say? 10?
10.
10.
So,
Okay.
people may
So I have half an hour. I will give maybe half an hour. We talk on emptiness. Yeah.
in that time when the people come. Yeah, we could maybe people will have question and answer.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
have to meditate. Maybe we can be creative. Yes, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we are doing meditation now, or question answer now? What we are doing?
Maybe instead of meditation, we could just do a general discussion until
That
people
time,
come.
maybe that then people will actually get more from it than just sitting, because we know we're doing that every
Okay.
sometime here, but maybe questions better. Maybe people will have questions
Okay.
and get more insight into everything.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
So more general discussion.
Okay. So the teachings of the Buddha, generally the teachings of the Buddha, I think yesterday we were talking about it, is the method to freedom. Okay, we don't have to take it as His Holiness always says is more mind science than religion. So we don't have to take it in the concept of religion. I think the concept of the teachings of the Buddha are there to share different means and methods to, what we say, to negate the concept of suffering, or to negate the experience of suffering. And through negation of the experience and the concept of suffering, what we do is we liberate ourselves. Liberation literally means freedom, nothing else, right? Freedom from physical obscuration, freedom from mental obscuration. Physical obscuration can be seen in the form of sickness, death, and old age, and change, right? So these are the 4 things generally that consist of the physical, physical obscuration. Then mental obscuration has to do a lot with, it starts, generally we say it starts from the core or the root ignorance, right? So even though it's debatable in Buddhism, we have debated a lot about it. We say thome thame thayo or something like that, which means like it's beginningless, but there is an end. So when we look at the structure of the cosmos and of the lifespan and life system and of the history of the mind, then they say it's beginningless. it's a little bit hard to, for me it's a little bit hard to, what do we say, accept that concept. Like, there has to be somewhere it started. That thought is always there in me. So I wouldn't say that I accept it completely. And this is the most beautiful thing about Buddhism, is that if you don't accept it, you can debate on it. Yeah, you have the right to question and you have the right to debate on it. So me myself, I have a lot of doubts in regards to the beginningless concept, but then it also does make sense when there is philosophy involved in it. We have discussions and debates on it, and we talk about all of that. Then it seems like, okay, if we are talking about impermanence and consistency, and we're talking about what we say, impermanence in the form of continuity. Then when you are going backtracking, then the continuity, there's always one thing that leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. I mean, if you look at the wood on the table here, that's made into this thing right here. If you track it backwards, you start to see that it's constant, it's never ending. This wood came from a tree, the tree came, the formation of the tree came from the seed came from another tree, and it just keeps on continuing. Yes? Yes, so we get to the mind. So here we just, one example I'm using, you're so eager. Eagerness is there. Like, what about the mind? Good. That's good. That's a good sign. So we go tracking back, and the consistent just keeps on going. And even in the formation of this tree, then we have the water that has a role to play, we have the seed that has the role to play, we have the nutrients in the soil that has a role to play. Everything has a role to play, and then it just keeps growing like this. How we say, for you to come here right now, to be in existence right now, it takes two people. Your father and your mother, right? But then for your father and mother to come in existence, it takes four people, right? Now you have grandfather, grandmother, grandmother. And then for those four people to come in, it took 8 people. So you see, it's exactly the same concept. It just keeps growing. So now, when you look at when you keep going, it takes millions and millions of people for you, one person, to be existing right now. So that's similar concept, right, of what we say, continuity of the past. So therefore, when you bring these kinds of logic in it, then somehow. So now comes the mind. For you to be in this body, because it takes countless people there, the mind has the same sequence. For you to be here, there has to be 2 decisions from 2 people, right? I mean, 2 general decisions. If you take about the whole scope, then many decisions, right? So the mind, existence of the mind is very strongly related to the karmic chain of cause and condition. If your father and mother never met, well, you wouldn't be existing here. And that has to do with the mind. If your father saw your mother and didn't fall in love with your mother, you wouldn't be existence. Another thing, right? So there's if you are married and you know how your life has played out, then you know how much sequences, what do we say, fortunate sequences it took for all of the conditions to come together to actually, have that relationship, or have that external condition to have a child, or whatever it is. So that is the thing. Now you have people who said, I've been trying to have a child for 2-3 years and I still cannot have a child. I've had people like that, right? And then so again, then there's a different kind of external factor there, where we say, even if you do want to, it doesn't necessarily mean you can, right? And then nowadays you have, what is it? IVF? IVF. Yeah. So nowadays you have new methods because fertilization not happening. So you have new methods of fertilizing. And then some people, because they haven't decided yet, they take their egg embryo out and they freeze it, and then so anyway. So all of these conditions, now we are adding more and more conditions to how it can come into existence. So the mind, continuity of the mind, existence of the mind right here in this body which is the compilated karmic effect of ourselves, as well as the mother and the father and all the people that we know and we are surrounded and loved by. So this is all existent here at the present moment, result of all of this. So if you think that you are not so special, it took it took countless people for you to come here in existence. So don't think that you are not that special, right? That's one thing. Now this is, I think, external, again another type of external factors that condition for the mind to come into existence in this body, because the mind is very closely connected to the body in this instant right now. But then the continuity of the mind itself is a different chain again. It has nothing to do, of course it has, like I said, external cause and conditions are there, but then again the main cause and condition for the existence of the mind is you yourself, the mind itself. So what happens is, they normally give the example of the body and the mind as, they call the body the vessel, right? So it's like water, in the cup. This is the mind inside the body, one body. Then this cup becomes old and rusted, and then you pour the water into another cup, a new cup, and therefore the continuity of the water happens. So similar to that concept. If you go chasing back the concept of the mind, there's many different theories. Even in Buddhism, there's many theories. Sometimes I wonder why the Buddha wasn't very specific and made things so easy for us and just said, "Oh, this is how it started." End of story, right? But then he gave us the option to choose because we have the mind. So the options to choose, there's a lot of those. If you study Abhidhamma Kosh, Abhidhamma Kosh is one of the topics in the 5 major topics, and in Abhidhamma Kosh it explains the start. They talk about the starting of the universe, starting of how, and similar to a lot of different. I think it's also quite connected to the scientific view. They talk about the monkey, the 2 monkeys, right? And that one they do talk about that, and then also they talk about one bodhisattva and one demon. They're coming together, and then now we have this sort of like mixture of both. So we are kind as well as unkind, that sort of thing. So there's that explanation as well. These, for me, these are just, I think, more like, you can't really prove it or anything. It's like more like theoretical concepts. But those explanations do exist. Now there's other explanation of countless eons of generations of existence. So one existence comes into play because of karmic imprints, and then that existence, then there is me jigba, chui jigba, there is what is it, eight worldly fears or something like that. Destruction of fire, destruction of water, destruction of that, destruction of wind, destruction of the elements, destruction of, so these are also there, which sort of explains the what we said, the new formation of these existences. So I think again quite similar to the scientific perspective, where we say, at once in long time ago, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, then the meteorites came, so huge destructions, and took out all the dinosaurs, right? Then a new sort of species started, and then we had the ice age where it took out all of those species again, and then again a new. So it's, some ways it does have that connection. The drasticness of it is a little bit different, but unlike that, there is also that explanation in Abhidhamma Kosh. So Abhidhamma Kosh, I always see it similar to a storybook, and if you study it, it does give you all these different theories on how how existence came into play. So now we talk about the mind, the cause and conditions of the mind to come into existence. Like we were talking yesterday, I said, if you want to know where you're going in your next life, then you look at yourself right now. You look at your condition of your mind and the thoughts and the views and the perspectives right now. You sort of can say, if you're not doing so well and you are, then most likely that you would end up somewhere, where there's a lot of suffering. And then you look at yourself now, and if you're in a situation where there's a lot of, suffering and a lot of, misfortunes happening, then the likeliness that, that you would be able to tell what you did in the past. I think this is very similar to in our daily lives as well, right? If you are in jail, you can sort of tell, oh yeah, I did something wrong, right? Whereas if you are, comfortable and you don't have anything to fear, and you can sort of tell like, oh yeah, I did everything right, sort of thing. So something similar to that. So this is the generalization of the existence. The concept of suffering. So in Buddhism, let's put it in this way. In Buddhism, I would say there's 3 categories to be very, very, very precisely aware of. Yeah, 3 categories of teaching that for you to be very precisely aware of. The first category is the Four Noble Truths, right? The truth of suffering, the cessation suffering, the cause suffering, and the cessation to the cause of suffering. So these are the Four Noble Truths. This explains your life basically. This explains karma, this explains situation, this explains path and the grounds, this explains how you can get out of that situation. It basically explains, it's like what do you call constitution. Is it you call it the constitution? Yeah. So it's basically like the constitution. It's like, okay, these are the things you cannot do. If you do these things, then you end up here, and if you don't do these things, you end up here. And if you do get into here, the way to get out of it is something like that. Law, right? Law. So something like that. And it gives you a very generalization of, it's nothing to do with Buddhism, it gives you a very generalization, an idea, a concept or a view of from the Buddhist perspective of how everything came into existence, what everything is, what is the problem, what is the solution, how do we get out of the problem, how do we apply the solutions to get out of the problem. Basic outline. Now the second thing is understanding, then comes the second part, right? The second most important thing is the 3 principal aspects of the path, right? Which would be renunciation. Renunciation concentrates on suffering. Yeah, the only reason to the concept of renunciation is because of suffering. Yeah, we are renouncing samsara. We say duje kowa jem pungbo, duje contaminated phenomena, kowa samsara, pungbo, the samsaric body. These three things are sort of like synonyms. Yeah, they exist exactly same thing. So this one. Then renouncing not meaning in the concept to to let go, to hate, or no, it's not that. It's about creating cause and conditions to not be we say the wheel of samsara. The reason why we say the wheel of samsara is because it turns around. It goes up, you go up, you come down again, go up, come down again, like that. So we don't want to be stuck in the wheel. It's a hamster wheel. Yeah, always running like this. So once you start running, you are not getting anywhere, right? You're just running the wheel like this. So similar to the concept that we are in this wheel, we are like the hamster running. So we need to get out of it, right? So the concept of what is the renunciation. Then comes the what we say, the method, bodhicitta. Yeah, the method, compassion, bodhicitta. How do we get out of that, out of this samsaric existence through the Mahayana perspective, or through the higher scope perspective of the higher scope? Then comes bodhicitta, right? Bodhicitta being the method. Then comes the view of emptiness. Yeah, the view of emptiness is because you need to, like we were talking yesterday. If I say bodhicitta, you need to apply bodhicitta. You need to be compassionate. You go, but why? Why would I need to be compassionate? Oh, because they're suffering. But that's their problem. They created their own situation. They're suffering. Why should I worry about it, right? So these concepts can come up. These concepts can, and these do come up. If you look in your daily life and you see situations, most times you don't want to get involved in the situation. We take step back and there's war there, there's war, this and that's happening, this happening. Some people are so involved in how to, how can I support and how can help. Other people are saying, oh, too bad, so, so sad, So we do that. Yeah, this is reality. So now comes the wisdom. Why compassion? And that's the view of emptiness. Right? We coming to the concept of applying the view of emptiness to understand why bodhicitta is important. And now by doing these two, then you go, what we say, similar to the concept that I explained yesterday, where once you're pulling one side of the dinga, then all four sides come together. So once you're applying the wisdom and the method together, combined, then all of your, what we say, paramidas, all of your, what you call, perfections, they start growing with it. So that becomes the ultimate method. The method being the view of emptiness. Then once you learn the concept of bodhicitta and the view of emptiness, and you learn to put these two together, then becomes the ultimate method, which means then everything is like going against gravity. You have these machines that what we say, that take away gravity. I don't know how that works.
Anti-gravity?
Yeah, anti-gravity machine sort of things, and there are wood and pebbles inside the box. And once that machine is turned on, then all the pebbles and everything start floating up in the air like this. So similar to that. You turn that on, then everything gets pulled up together. Okay?
This is probably overly simplistic, but just for now, and obviously I'll ask you another question after we've done the talk on emptiness, but with the wisdom as a result of emptiness, ultimately the wisdom is coming through emptiness.
No, wisdom is not a result of emptiness. Emptiness is the means to applying the method.
Yes, but does the wisdom come through the awareness?
No, wisdom is the view of emptiness itself is the wisdom. The view of emptiness. So we'll go deeper into that. And now I'm just explaining the three different categories. So we'll go deeper into that once we talk about emptiness. So the Four Noble Truths, the three principal aspects of the path. And then what's the final one? I forgot. The Four Noble Truths, the three principal aspects of the path, and then so the three principal aspects of the path consist of the renunciation, bodhicitta, and the view of emptiness. Now the final one is what was it? This is categories that I'm making, so I'm forgetting also. Something wrong with my mind. Anyway, for now we keep. I'll come back to the third one, that if I can. But anyway, so the application of the first Four Noble Truths, understanding samsara. This is to do with the understanding part. Then the middle one, in regards to renunciation, bodhicitta, and the view of emptiness, is entering the path. Then the third one, liberation. So the second one comes entering the path. Entering the path in the sense that you learn to renounce, then you learn to you have the the method, then you learn to find a really strong structural convincing wisdom to apply to use to apply the methods to. Then comes the third part, which is liberation, right? So we talk about liberation also. So that would be the generalization understanding of it. Now let's talk about, first we talk about renunciation. As I was saying, there is no difference between contaminated phenomena, samsara, and the contaminated body. There's no difference, right? Our body in itself is samsara, because we shed our body and then we get a new body, and then we shed our body again and we get a new body, and then we shed our body again and we get a new body. If you look at the wheel of life, yeah, we have the 6 realms. Yeah, if you look at the wheel of life, we have the 6 realms, and within the 6 realms, you have, each realm has their own body. Yeah, some are more capable than others. The human body being more capable than an animal's body. The human mind, what we say, the mind organ, right? The mind organ, the brain, being more capable of being able to influence. The mind being more capable of influencing the brain based on the body itself, right? So you only can put water based on the cup, right? If you have a jug of water and the cup is this small, you start pouring, it doesn't fit. So it's exactly the same. So that's why there's a huge difference between the mind and the mind organ. Yeah, this is the same thing with the eye. Yeah, the eye and the eye organ are completely different things. We can actually do this through experiment. You know, what do you call that? Solar when it becomes dark. Solar eclipse. Yeah, so you have solar eclipse. You look with your eyes, you can't see, right? Like, was it solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, something like that. Then they wear these glasses, some kind of glass that has different colors on them. Then you put this on, then you can see very clearly. So our eye organ doesn't have the capacity, so it needs external abilities to be able to see that. Same thing goes with small germs and bacteria. They exist, but our eye doesn't have the capacity to see it, right? So then we use external capacity to see things like that. So same thing, if you can empower the organ, then you can see the real value of the consciousness. The eye consciousness ability is limitless. It can see of course, when you are reading shamatha, yeah, if you are studied shamatha, shamatha is calm abiding, and if you study vipassana, what is that, Lakpong? What do you call vipassana in English? Inside. Vipassana is not just inside. Vipassana is like beyond the inside, beyond. Okay, so anyway, I would much rather call it like beyond insight or something like that. It goes beyond the understanding of insight. Anyway, so when you study this, you see mundane abilities that you can achieve by practicing in shamatha and vipassana. You're able to see thousands of miles with your eyes. You're able to see all kinds of different things with your eyes. Your ears, your senses, completely different, because the organ starts to change. Abilities, these like extra abilities to the organ is added, you know. So similar to, like I said, you know, people who don't have good eyesight, they put glasses, now they can see very clearly. So when the organ doesn't have the capacity, then the full potential of the consciousness is not there. So same thing with the mind, right? The mind, when the organ, the brain doesn't have the capacity, then the full potential of the mind is not opened. Make sense? Yeah, so similar to that. So what was I talking about? Renunciation. So yeah, so the body. Yeah, so the body we have in samsara, the wheel of life, you have different bodies with different organs, different levels of organs. Yeah, some eagles some eagles might have the capacity of some mundane abilities that are explained inside the what we say, special insight, you know, achievement of the special insight, because they are miles and miles up in the air and they can see mouse running, small mouse running very far inside. And some owls, even if they don't see, they actually know, like if there's mice under the snow, they can actually go into the snow and they grab it without even like checking. For us, we have to go and say, where's the mice, oh yes, the mice, then we catch, right? But for owls, they don't have to. They sit up there, they look. I don't think whether they look or they hear, I don't know, but anyway, they have the ability. Then they dive into the snow and they come out with the mice. That kind of ability they have. So all the different realms have different abilities. The bodies are completely different. Yeah, animal realm has this ability. The Nagas are from the animal realms, we say, right? And they have amazing ability again. So, and then humans. As humans, we say the most amazing ability with humans is the mind. Yeah, this is, I think, within all of the 6 realms, they say they call it the precious human rebirth. Yeah, actually the God realms are much better. There's less suffering, there's more peace, there's more joyfulness, but they don't call it the precious or the godly realms, God rebirth. Right? They call it the precious human rebirth because the mind is so, what do we say, the capability of constructing the path to enlightenment on the stages of the human realm is limitless. In some texts, they actually say that the only place that you can actually reach enlightenment is on the human realm. Yeah? So they do explain this. You can achieve bodhicitta and you can achieve all of this in different realms, but when it comes to enlightenment, they say only human realm possible. Now this is a debatable topic. If you study Madhyamika, then this is a debatable topic. There's a lot of debates in regards to whether that's true or not. But that's that. Just cite cite information. So we have all of this within samsara, and we have within samsara we have, like we say, is we go round and round. Sometimes we are born as demigods, sometimes we are born as gods. We create so much, we love so much, we create so much good karma that we get born in the God realm. And then in the God realm, because you have so much good karma and you don't experience any pain and you don't experience any problem, then you start becoming a little bit lazy, it seems. they sit there, they shoot arrows and they show all this magic, magician stuff. Have you ever heard about the Mahabharata? No? So Mahabharata is the, what do we say, the existence of the Hindu. It's like the Hindu Bible sort of thing, right? So they talk about the gods and the demigods and this and all of this. So the God and the demigod are always fighting. Now they say the reason is because there's a tree. What do you call abundance tree, where some say it's some kind of wish fulfilling jewel, some say I don't know, all kinds of different things what grows on the tree, but the tree grows from the tree is on the demigod land, but then it grows up into the God realms. So the demigods never get to have any of the fruit. They never get to use any of the precious gems or wish fulfilling gems. All the wish fulfilling gems, and they're all used by the gods, right? So they're very, very, very unhappy. So they fight with the gods, always constantly fighting. Anyway, a side story again. But then the concept is the only time a god suffers is near death. Yeah, they use up all of their positive karma throughout their life, and they live for a very, 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 very long time. I think some calculations like 500 lifetimes on earth is equal to one lifetime on the. I'm not exactly sure with the numbers, but something like that. So they live very, 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 very long time, and they enjoy their whole life. They just enjoy. They want comfort, they get comfort. They say it's just thought that can have. They can experience just by thought. They want good food appears. They want comfort appears. They want this, that appears. They want that. Just by thought, everything comes. So now you can see how they are exhausting their karma like that. So at the end of life, when they are about to die, then because they have certain abilities, they start to see where they are going next life, and then their mind gets troubled. So then there's so much suffering. Compared to our suffering, they say is nothing. I mean, compared to their suffering, our suffering is nothing. Their suffering at the end is like you being a billionaire and losing every cent in one day. So that's the kind of suffering there, something similar to that. It's just giving you a, what is it, sort of something to compare to. So something like that. And then comes, the human realm, and then the animal realm, then the hungry ghost realm, the hell realm. These are all kinds of different sufferings. I think if you want to see that, I think most of them do exist on the human realm that we are on the earth itself. You have, in Australia, you have a lot of bushfires, animals being, huge fires where thousands and thousands and thousands of animals are being burned alive. Then you have cold hell, which consists of, people freezing to death. And they say if you climb to Everest, you actually see cold hell because you can see frozen bodies. Yeah.
I actually had a client once, and he told me he always felt like he was on fire.
Yes,
he
yes.
Put a fire blanket over himself.
Yes.
He even went so far to say he felt like he was getting poked by beings with fiery lances.
Yes. So things like that, experiences. Then, of course, you see the animal realm, you see everywhere, and then the ability, like I was talking about the physical, what is it? Not the consciousness, but the organ. Yeah, the mind organ is not as developed and doesn't have the ability that we have. So their ability to think forward is not there. Yeah. Wake up, grub, wake up, grub, wake up, grub, wake up, grub, then maybe reproduction. Those are the two, most important things. They don't think about the future. Then maybe some animals can think, they gorge themselves before winter, and then in winter they go to hibernation. So maybe, a little bit extent. But then unlike humans, humans, we start planning for retirement, right? We have retirement, and then, when I want to die, do this for this, do that, we have all these different plans. So our capability to, to extend that way beyond any animal realm. Yeah, hungry ghosts, again, another, they have their own problem of always starving, so they cannot, when you are starving, they say, when you are starving, then you cannot think about anything else. You don't, when we are not starving, then we have the conscious idea of dirty, not looking, doesn't look nice, doesn't look tasty, it's not good, this. But when you are hungry, you eat what you get. Right? You get a live rat, you eat a live rat. You get a cockroach, you eat a cockroach. People survive that way as well. So something similar to that, constantly in hunger. Then we have the human realm, where we have abundance to a certain point, not to the point of the gods where we are indulging and we are ignorant, so ignorant and indulging, and just like that. So we do have all of this, but just to a point where it's a very good, it's sort of like the middle way, right in the middle. So we have that balance, and then so this is the concept of all of this, and then the consistency, always running. So now you need to understand, because you look around yourself, you see so much pain and so much suffering constantly. You look at yourself, it's the same thing. Mentally, we have hatred, anger, we are talking about all of this mental afflictions, always coming up here, there. No matter how kind we are, no matter how patient we are, no matter how good we are, always comes a point where the mind is affected. Then the same thing with the body. Yeah, body experiences the suffering of change. When I was young, I looked good, I was able, I was that, I was this. Now this has changed, that has changed, my look has changed, this has changed. Now you get problems with, you get an accident, then, sometimes your nose have a problem, sometimes your ear have a problem, sometimes your hands have a problem, all kinds of different, consistent problem, one after another. It's like we can't get a break. We can never get a break. Consistently, one after another. Yeah, if one problem is solved, another one appears. Another one is solved, another one appears. Just constant. So now we see the truth of suffering. Yeah, generally, truth of suffering is categorized in through the experience of Buddha. We talked about it yesterday also. Through the experience of Buddha, we categorize it in the form of the, what we say, birth, old age, sickness and death. But then there's just generalization. Within that are so many different, right? So now understanding suffering, right? Korwa is samsara. Samsara is nothing other than understanding that this consistent suffering one after another. And then comes, what was it? To the suffering, to the cessation. Cessation, understanding that you have, there is actually liberation, there is actually a means to negate samsara, understanding that. Then coming to the concept of what we say, path. So now you say, what is the means? Then comes the teachings of the Buddha, which is the path, right? We have the path. Now the path consists different paths. Yinde, Rangya, Changsim, and generally there's 3 different paths. But then again, much more. If you go deeper, there's more and more and more and more. Very complicated in some ways. But if we learn to simplify, then there's 3 different paths. One path is the Nyerang path. Nyerang is solitary path. And then we have the Rangya. Rangya is a hearer only path. Is it hearer only path? Then the third one is the Bodhisattva's path. Then the first 2 are the path to achieve liberation towards Aryahood. Yeah, you get liberation towards Aryahood. The third path, you get liberation towards enlightenment. The achievement, the first one is you only achieve Aryahood. You don't achieve enlightenment. The second one is you achieve enlightenment. Arya beings, I think for Arya beings, even though there is no pain and suffering, they are like, they are not, they don't, when it comes to others' pain and sufferings, they tend to ignore it, like, what do we say?
Ignore, did you say?
Yeah, sort of like take what is a blind eye? Put a blind eye, take a blind eye, what? Turn a blind eye. Turn a blind eye. So, other suffering, they sort of like turn a blind eye. So, it's all about self-liberation. Self. I am in pain, I am in suffering, and I need to get liberated. Right? But then when they see that there's pain inside, I mean, there's not pain, but there's like sadness and there's all of that. But then, there's a turning eye. You shed yourselves from that. So therefore, then comes after they indulge, they say once you achieve Aryahood and you indulge in meditation for so long time, it's like you close your eyes. Close up. What is the word? Blind eye. Turn an eye. So you turn an eye by closing your eye. You turn an eye. Then, shut your eyes. Then they say the bodhisattvas knock. Say, hey, you can't ignore. Get up. World is suffering. Even though you are enjoying, the world is suffering. You can't ignore that. And that's when they finally say, okay, I need to do bodhis. I need to go on the bodhisattva's path. So this is the path on the ground, right? So the 3 paths on the ground. Then comes the what is it? And then what is it? Truth of the path and the cessation. Yeah, truth of cessation of the path. Now there comes the method and the means. Yeah, then comes the 3 categories, right? Renunciation, bodhicitta, and the view of emptiness. Renunciation is coexistent in all 3 different paths. Bodhicitta, in solitary and hearer's path, it is on different levels. There is a distinction whether you can achieve it or not. There is a distinction. Certain Arya paths, they have a little bit of bodhicitta, and this is when they are getting closer and closer to embracing the concept of enlightenment. They start to have a little bit of sense of bodhicitta. And then the view of emptiness. The application. So once you have bodhicitta, then you have to apply the first is the understanding. Of the view of emptiness, there's 2 parts. One is the understanding part, one is the application part. Understanding part, they say there's also existence within the first 2 parts, the hearer only part and the solitary part. The understanding of the view of emptiness is there, but the application only exists in the bodhisattva's path. Yeah? Something like that. We are following so far? Yes? You doing good? Yeah? Okay. We want to do question answer or we continue? It's 10.
Why only the bodhicitta the application part?
What is it?
You say there's the understanding of emptiness, but
Yeah, so bodhisattva path. Yeah. So the reason why there's a difference, generally the reason why the difference between the Arya path and the bodhisattva path, like we said, the goal is different. The bodhisattva path, the goal is enlightenment, right? In the Arya path, the goal is not enlightenment. The Arya path, the goal is Aryahood. So there's different goals there. Okay, one is different goals. Now the second concept of, now we go deeper into emptiness. One reason why emptiness, the view of emptiness came into existence is because of the self-grasping attitude. If you want to practice the view of emptiness because you want to have the ability to make this cup disappear, then that's the wrong motivation. Yeah, the cup will not disappear. Yeah, sunyata, nothingness, or sunya literally means a zero. We say sunya in Hindi or Sanskrit, in Nepali also it means like zero. Nothingness, the concept of nothingness is not synonyms with the concept of nihilism, meaning doesn't exist, non-existent. So it's not the concept of non-existent. Okay, so this is one thing very clear. It's not the concept of non-existent. It's the concept of certain kind of existence not existing, a certain kind of deluded existent non-existing. Does that make sense? So the concept of a certain kinds of deluded existence that is imprinted by the mind that is non-existent.
It's the ability to see illusion.
Ah?
Ability to see the illusion.
Ability to see the illusion, ability to see the true nature of reality, the truth of the object. The object is there, the object is always there. But how we see the object is totally different from what the object is.
The ability to
Yes. So that, now the application of the view of emptiness is for no other reason but to negate the grasping attitude. I mean, the reason of the view of emptiness, the application of the view of emptiness is because, why? Because the negation of the grasping attitude.
And that's almost like to interrupt a habitual response in a way.
No.
Interrupt by seeing.
No. Interrupt by seeing meaning?
Yeah, because you can see emptiness, you don't react like you normally react. Because you can see it's a concept of mind, it's not actually true. To stop and see, hang on a sec, this is what I think.
Yeah, so we come to that. So how it works is, okay, first step, the view of emptiness is to negate the self-grasping attitude. Second step, why do you need to negate the self-grasping attitude? Because the self-grasping attitude is a product of conflicting emotions or conflicting destructive views. Yeah, the way we see ourselves in true reality, it doesn't exist in the way. You think you're so beautiful, you think you're so gorgeous, you think you're so big, so strong, so that, so this. We have all these delusional views. In reality, is pus and guts and bloods and all kinds of disgusting things that we'd never touch generally. There's some poop somewhere, there's some pus somewhere, there's some guts somewhere, all mixed up, and then it's covered by a skin basically. It's reality, right? So getting rid of that is important. And then why do we need to get rid of that concept? Because you need to understand others. As long as me and my exist here, me and my, the conventional view of me and my exists, then the ultimate view of others cannot come into existence. Make sense? The only reason why you cannot love your enemy is because the me and my, the conventional view of me and my. The only reason he's an enemy is because he's your enemy. He's my enemy. Yeah? If he's her enemy, does that make him my enemy? No. So he's her enemy because a conventional view that exists in her that says he's my enemy. Does that make sense? Yes? No? So, coming back to the point, step by step, first, The view of emptiness exists because to negate the self-grasping attitude. The importance of self-grasping attitude is because of the conventional view. The conventional view is problematic to being able to apply bodhicitta, and then bodhicitta, not having bodhicitta, you cannot reach enlightenment to liberate all sentient beings.
So could a conventional view be racist?
Yeah, can be racism, can be conventional views arise from all different aspects. So now we go deeper into it. I'll try to simplify it because when we are talking about fractures and mental fractures and the concepts and the views and the application of the views and trying to consist into the application of that particular view, what conventional is, what ultimate is, how it's conventional, it gets a little bit mixed up. So if we, let's say, anyone have an iPhone, latest iPhone? Who has a latest iPhone? No one has a latest, oh, you have a latest iPhone? So, okay, so that iPhone is Tim's iPhone, right? And is very precious to Tim. How much you pay for it? There you go, lots, right? So, one reason because it's very precious is because lots, right? That's one reason. Second reason, because there's all of the things inside that phone that are very personalized, that he has, that he needs. His maps, his contacts, his this, his that, his pictures, his, goes on and on and on and on, right? So this is all in there. So now they have the conventional views are coming into play. The reality exists on what we say application of mass. Yeah, I think in law is something like that, right? In law you have you have a bunch of people who jury. So it's a mass of a jury that decides, is it? Yeah, so the mass of a jury that decides. So similarly, the conceptual reality, it becomes less and less and less and less and less conceptual when more and more and more and more and more and more and more people are added, or more and more mass are added. So love is a universal language. Love is very, very, very close to it being less conventional. Does that make sense? Love is less conventional. Why? Because the mass that agree in love is huge. Yeah? Whereas the existing of that phone, the importance of that phone, it only exists to Tim in this room. Yeah? If Tim dropped it and broke it, who would be heartbroken here? Yeah, only him, right? Anyone else who would be heartbroken? maybe she paid for it. So now this one has the codependence between the two of them, therefore the existence exists there. Anyone else? No. So the conventional truth of the importance of that exists where? Yeah, the two of them, right? So this is a conventional truth, it's not an ultimate truth, right? If that phone was ultimately as important as it should be, then that ultimatum existing within the phone, the importance should be within this room. Yeah. Now this is within this room. Also, I wouldn't say it's ultimate because we are just a bunch of people, right? For us, maybe because most of us are Buddhists. Let's say the concept of Buddhism is sort of like a conventional view that exists that's important to us. But in reality, you open one more door and you let in maybe a bunch of other people. Then the conventional importance, the true reality of importance starts to disappear a little bit. We getting there? Yeah. So we have conventional view, and that conventional view is what makes things important, what makes things precise, what makes things change. So we say, for example, flower. For me, this flower is beautiful. But then for some people who, let's say, has an allergy to roses, oh, this is very bad, right? And then another example would be, we can expand the circle, and we can say, for example, we say kaka, poop, yeah, poop. So poop is disgusting for us. Oh, we don't want to touch it. We don't like the smell. Discard, call it, right? But then for a fly, Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy food. Right? Wherever there is poop, they are going searching for it. Right? Where the smell is, it attracts them. You see the difference? It's all conventional views. Nothing exists as it is. Conventional views based on our body, our senses, on our abilities of the organs that exist within us. Our nose, the organ that a fly has, the nose organ that a fly has is what we say, constructed to be attracted to the smell of poop. So the difference is there. And our organ is constructed to smell that as bad because it's bad for our body. And our organ is basically constructed based on the karmically imprinted body that we have. Make sense? So conventional truth and ultimate truth. These are the two truths that we need to understand in order to understand the view of emptiness. Conventional truth is a truth that is based on delusional views and misconceptional views that we have. That's called conventional truth. It's a truth, but it's a truth that only exists in my mind, in our mind, in a certain society mind, in only human mind. There are truths that only exist to humans, whereas it doesn't exist to animals. There are truths that only exist to gods, that don't exist to other beings. So the level of the expansion of the truth, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So even though it's an ultimate truth on this work, in America it may not be, or in Australia it may not be the ultimate truth in India or in Nepal or in Sri Lanka or some other place. The ultimate truth changes, based on concept, based on views, based on perspectives. So all of that, influential reasoning and logic can be a means to understanding what conventional truth is by its own side. So the two parts, the ultimate truth and the conventional truth. Conventional truth being the means, understanding that the conventional truth is conventional, is made up, being the means to understand, there is an ultimate truth. Now, what comes consistent inside the ultimate truth? You have different schools inside the Buddhist society. Buddhist philosophy. Different schools that come with different concepts of what the ultimate truth is. Some say it's the ultimate truth is that every object exists from its own side. Some say, and Buddha himself went around teaching this. It's sometimes a little bit confusing because Buddha went to one place and he said, ultimate truth is existence in an object existing from its own side, and then he went to another place and he says, no, conventional ultimate truth is everything that exists merely labeled. Existence based on the concept, what we call subject and object, subjective ultimate truth and objective ultimate truth, they call it. So there is ultimate truth as a subjective ultimate truth. There is ultimate truth and objective ultimate truth. Subjective ultimate, within subjective ultimate truth, again there is 3 or 4 different categories within subjective ultimate truth that understands ultimate truth on the different subjective minds as well. So this is something similar to how I was explaining that truths on this earth may not be truth to the animal realm, right? Like the concept of poop that we talked about, right? It's conceptually not conceptually, ultimately on this world. If we put ultimately on this world, this is then for human beings, that is sort of like an ultimate truth, that poop is disgusting and it's not tasty and it's very smelly. But then if you extend the realms, then that becomes conventional. The moment you extend the realms, it becomes conventional, right? Make sense? So that is the concept of conventional and ultimate. Now within the schools, so we have the higher school, you call it, the higher school. What do you call it? Thanyuba. I don't know how to what the Buddhist terminology that is, but then in Thanyuba school, then we have the ultimate truth, which comes to the concept of I think a few different concepts. I would say is understanding. I always say it's understanding conventional truth. The ultimate truth is understanding conventional truth. Yeah, the moment you see that the moment you start to see the conventional truth, then the ultimate truth becomes more and more clearer. Yeah, the moment you realize that this mind glass, this is not important, then the ultimate truth of this glass becomes one step further. Yeah, the moment I understand the whole room agrees that this glass is not important, then the ultimate truth again becomes a little bit, bigger. Then in this world, if everyone's saying, oh, this glass is, not important, then the ultimate truth even gets, we are getting closer to the ultimate truth. Now, when all 6 realms and all the different realms, all the different concepts and views and perspectives and all, now if they have a, what we say, universal view of this importance of this cup being conventional, and you understand, oh, everyone now you are getting very, 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 very close to the ultimate view. Kyabchen Lama Tutu Sopa Rinpoche always uses the word merely labeled, and he uses this to explain the concept of ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is it's merely labeled. Yeah, the importance of this is merely labeled, and therefore it becomes important. Yeah, my name is merely labeled. The I that exists within me is merely labeled. Everything around me is explained as merely labeled. Yeah, this phone is mine because I merely labeled it as mine. In true reality, is only the label that makes it important. Yeah, the moment if I change Tim's phone unknowingly, exact same phone, I copied everything and put it on this phone, put the same cover, without him realizing I changed it. Now I'm already changing his conceptual, view of what it is, because now his label, even though the phone is different, his label will be, this is my phone. So it's merely labeled, right? You need to see that the moment the label is changed, then the importance also changes. So that's why the ultimate truth generally, like I said, there's many different perspectives, but in coincidence, most of them talk about merely labeled. Understanding that everything that is consistent of importance, consistent of something, is merely labeled. Now, why is understanding that important? Like, what do I get by understanding that my phone is merely labeled? Okay, my phone is merely labeled. It's not important to you. It's important to me. So what? What do I get out of all of that, right? The concept, further off, the concept goes into the I, the me, I, me and mine. Now, the importance of the merely labeled comes into play only when there is a subjective and an objective that is dependent on the I. Without a subjective external and objective external that is not dependent on the I, then that doesn't become important at all. Yeah, then that in true reality is actually, true reality. It exists, but it's a true reality, right? Like let's say there's a what do we call a stone in the sky that goes up and down. What do you call that? Meteorite. Let's say there's a meteorite up there floating somewhere that scientists have not discovered yet, but it's up there somewhere floating around. That's the ultimate truth. No one knows. There's no label in it. Maybe now I'm labeling it, but before I labeled it, the ultimate truth. It's just, the existence is there. So something like that, in some senses, where is not connected with the subjective and the external subjective and objective object that is not coincidentally in coincidence with the grasping attitude of the I, me and my. Because without that, then you are able to see others for what others is. You are able to see, like I said, as long as I'm not subjecting this as my cup or the center's cup or this cup or that cup, then I just see this cup as cup. As simple as that. Then when I say, oh, the center's cup, now it's a little bit more important, right? If I take it home, oh, it's the center's cup, I need to bring it back, right? The labeling starts to happen. Now it's my cup, then it's even more important. Oh, don't drink in it, this is my cup, right? Or if it's, so something like that. So the concept, the objective itself, the existence of the objective itself in its nature starts to change based on the labeling. Yeah, in and out, it goes like this. Then money, I think money is a really good example, because the money, the moment it goes from hand to hand, it changes, the label always changes. When the money is your hand, then you are rich. Then the money is my hand, I am rich. Then the money goes to his hand, he is rich. So the rich always changes on the label that we give the importance of the money. Make sense? Somehow, yeah, structural.
Sorry, you might be getting confused now. Are you saying, I understand that you're saying if you put a label on it, mine or something like that, it becomes important and it's attached to someone, that's conventional, you're calling that conventional reality, is that right? And if there's no label attached, the object just is in and of itself.
No, so the devoidness, yeah, the devoidness of a labeling, or the devoidness of understanding that it's merely labeled, now that is the view of emptiness. The view you have that understands that this object is merely labeled by our projection, by our mind, by that, by this, now that is the view of emptiness. Make sense? Make sense? Anyone wants to debate on that?
Would you just say that again, so now I'm not thinking about it, just hear you? Would you mind saying that again?
Can I what?
Would you mind saying it again, so I'm not thinking about it, I just want to hear it?
What I just said?
Yep.
What did I just say? Devoid. Yeah, devoid. So the devoidness, understanding that the devoidness of the labeling, or understanding that this object exists only through the label, merely labeled, that in itself is the view of emptiness. Yeah, so this is why in philosophy and in general nowadays, here and there, people talk about it. They say emptiness, 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 emptiness. But in reality, we always say tongiki tawa. So it's a view of emptiness. It's a view, again, in itself, it's a view that you apply to understand.
View of the eye.
The view
So
of
it's
emptiness.
empty of that.
Conceptual.
It's empty of that name that we give it.
Devoid of the label. Yeah, devoid. So you understand that it is merely labeled. The I, that is so important, that looks so good, that is this, perfect hair, this, money, this, phone, house, big car. Is all what? Merely labeled. Yeah, merely labeled. And this being merely labeled is what do we say, contradictory. Yeah, this being, in reality, this thing, this I and the me and the mind, the importance and all of these things, my house, my car, my this, my family, all of this concept itself contradicting the conceptual view that we have. You can see the contradiction? It's merely labeled, yet I'm attached to it. Yeah, it's merely labeled, yet I think it's so beautiful, I think it's that, I think it's that. Yeah, it's merely labeled. This is merely labeled, the concept. Yeah, you have a girl, you have a boy. Yeah, each other, they are partners. Then the girl sees another boy. Oh, anger. Oh, that happens because we have labeled it as mine. So when it goes to something else, then that's why thief. Stealing is a crime. Why is stealing a crime? So you see the concept? Make sense?
So the problem with conventional reality is leading to grasping and attachment.
There you go. So, end of it, conventional reality leads to grasping, which leads to separation, which leads to what we say, abundance, which leads to, what we say, my, all of that. And then therefore you cannot have a universal compassion. Huh? There's no universal compassion there. It's so easy to be compassionate to your dog and your people and your mind, your the center people. But then when it comes to enemies and people who make you angry and who make that, then it becomes very hard.
So there's no universal compassion because you can't see the ultimate reality of everything.
There you go. So method, what is it? Wisdom. Now you start to see, oh, there is no universal compassion without this understanding this. So this is the wisdom to understanding universal compassion. Make sense?
We can't be enlightened because we don't.
So therefore, from there, if we don't proceed with this, with the combination of these two together, then you cannot achieve enlightenment. Fantastic. We getting it? Yeah. I'm devoid. But again, like I said, this is, I think for a lot of us, this cannot be applied in generalism, because conventional reality is also very, very, very important. That's why it's called conventional reality. It is reality. Okay, don't say, oh, I am, now, oh, everything is merely labeled, so nothing is important, my money is not important, my life is not important. No, don't think like that. Okay, now you are going extremes. This is why the balance is important. Umelam, the middle way. Okay, now you are going to two extremes. There is nihilism and what is it? Eternalism. Yeah. So now comes the third perspective, which is understanding the method of application of the wisdom and method. If you don't know the method to the application of wisdom and method, then it becomes a problem. Yeah, so this concept or this view of emptiness, it's not to let go of your phone, let go of your money, let go of that, let go of this. No, it's not that. Yeah, you have to have your phone, you need to have a house, you need to eat food, you need to look after your body. Yeah, this is important. But this method is only supposed to be used to develop compassion. Make sense? So this is why it's a view again. The ultimate truth is a view that you can apply to upgrade your compassion, to grow your compassion. So your desire or your wantingness, your eagerness, your fire inside towards wanting to reach enlightenment starts to grow on a universal level. You good?
Can we get a point where you don't blame?
Huh?
Can you get a point where you don't blame?
Can you get a what?
A point.
Yeah, can you get a point?
Yeah, well, for me to understand the flowers and bars, I label it flowers and bars.
Yes, so that's why I said conventional truth is also truth. Yeah, our label, this comes into existence because of our label also.
So can we reach a point where we don't label?
Huh?
Can we reach a point?
Oh, can we reach a point where we don't label? You shouldn't reach a point where we don't label. If you reach a point where you don't label, then you are reaching nihilism. Not nihilism. What is it? No, two.
Because to exist in our world, we have to apply.
Yes. Two extremes. Yeah, there are two extremes. You don't want to go there and you don't want to go. It's right in the middle. The middle is understanding that this view is only useful to apply when it comes to developing compassion. Don't apply this view in other things. Yeah?
Wisdom to reach beyond looking at an object in a conventional aspect, but also maintaining your own.
There you go.
By having, it's like when you look at pain, like I've had a lot of experiences in life. When you look at pain, you see your conventional pain, but then you expand that pain to the pain that exists in the world in a conventional. So wisdom to understand, to reach the point where you can see it, but you live in your own means to understand your conventionalism, and you can't. Sometimes you want to work out besides the world that you can't, because conventionalism takes you back to your own reality.
Yes. So something like that.
Yeah.
it is the pinnacle of understanding why the expansion, because the necessary means to liberate sentient beings, you need to be able to, to hug everyone. Then if you are separating everyone, some because of their looks, some because how they smell, some because how they think, some because that, some because they are closer, some because they are farther, some because they are not nice to you, some. Now if you are labeling all of that based on that, then your circle is going to be very, very small. And then, yes?
Yeah, I look at the view that, say, in this room is full of human beings.
Yes.
And that's how I see it.
Yes.
Human beings with their own knowledge and their own wisdom to impart on you, but they're just human beings.
Yes.
You're not shading yourself, you're not blinding yourself.
Yes.
To look at just the conventional, you have wisdom to expand that, they're human beings.
Yes.
In reality, that opens the door to wisdom, to view other people's things and to work in your own knowledge to expand your own self.
Yes. So something like that. Make sense? Yes? You're good? Yes.
Might be in the structure of what you're talking about, Tony, but simulate some kind of resolution towards the point. I was looking for the birthday, but we're looking for the time in your life when you would most likely have to face death. Would it be in your 80s? Would it be in your 60s, 70s, 50s, 20s? When was the most likelihood that you would come across death in our lives? And I learned that it's actually in infancy.
It's what?
Infancy.
In
Unborn babies and new babies.
Yes.
The highest rate of death
Yes.
in the world.
Okay.
Infancy.
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
So with that point when I found that out, it made me realise just how insufficient my thoughts are to my relationship with where I am in the world, because I've already made it past the hardest point of my life,
Yes.
which was to make it into this world.
Yes.
So on that thought, I try not, when I think about attachments, different things, and what we're talking about, is I relate to that, because really, we shouldn't hold on to anything, because we've already got past the hardest point of our life.
Yes.
So what's the point of clinging, holding, doing all these things, if you've already made it past the hardest part of life?
Yes. That's I think to deal with our experiences in life and troubles in life, then that makes a lot of sense. The view of emptiness consistent with application of, because now we need to expand, right? So when we are developing compassion, there's many different ways of developing compassion. One of the more what do we say? One of the more well-known methods is through the six causes and condition. Yeah, I'm sure you have gone through those, right? Knowing your mother, knowing your mother, what is it, Majitinde, repaying your kindness, you know that, right? So this is the six causes and condition to developing bodhicitta. So that in itself, in the essence, can help in developing what do we say, bodhicitta. But at the end of the day, if you do not realize that the focus of understanding the ultimate part of labeling and all of that is inconsistent with the concept of others, then you cannot match that up. So you can use the same concept saying, okay, I'm very lucky to have passed infanthood, because that was the most dangerous part of my life. Maybe I could have not even made it through that, because the chances of making through that is very, very limited, right? So that in itself is a concept. But that being today, because today we are talking about compassion and we are developing compassion, and the view of emptiness being was a wisdom to develop compassion. Now maybe you can think about it. Something you can think about it is, how do you use that that information of of that, it's good information to help you become confident and have you to become self-aware and appreciative, content with what you are and what you have and all of that. But then when it comes to being able to, what we say, open the circle up to all mother sentient beings, how can that, I'm sure maybe if you really think about it.
What I'm just really talking is, if you can relate to that's the hardest part of your life is already gone.
Yes, yes.
Is to make it through that early stages of life.
Yes.
Then surely that makes it easy to hold compassion, because there's no need to ever let go of compassion, because you've already, so everything that you might think is hard
Yes, yes.
is irrelevant to what you've already done. But
Yes,
you don't
yes.
realise it, because until you're going to realise it.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
So if you hold compassion, if you can hold compassion, and then when you ever feel like you're going to lose compassion or you've grown compassion, you make back to, hang on a minute, no, I've already done the whole thing. I can hold compassion, and I am compassion, and I can use this compassion.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You can, if you can develop compassion through that method, then that's also one of the, what do we say, one of the methods of developing compassion. Generally, the view of emptiness is the expansion in understanding why, what do we say, dependent origination becoming the, because everything is dependent, cause and condition. No? So that, yes, 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 yes. So through that also. Okay, we have a break. Yes? Everyone happy to have a break? Yeah.